Hello, I'm Bliznub and welcome to Building the Best. Today we're going to be looking at the Spira, or the Spira, or Spyro, depending on, what you fancy. Anyhow, this weapon came out today, and it is a crit throwing dagger, which is, well, new. There's nothing quite like it in the game, and frankly, throwing dagger, these things are practically swords. Like, come on, DE. There needs to be a new class in there. Come on, throwing swords. Make it happen. Anyhow, if we compare this thing to the Despair, which is really the only weapon comparable, we can see that we're getting a tiny bit less puncture, we're getting more balance, we're getting a little bit of slash, a little bit more impact, and we're getting, of course, this massive crit chance boost, which is absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal? Whatever. And we're getting a minor nerf in the fire rate compared to the Despair, but that doesn't really matter as the damage increase is well worth it. So if we build this weapon, we're going to stick on barrel diffusion and bore, obviously, for the massive puncture. We're going to avoid concealed explosives because whilst that buffs any throwing dagger weapon up and makes its damage amazing against crowds, honestly this thing has such a slow fire rate, you're going to be going for single targets with it, and we want to get that single target damage up there. So what we're going to put on now is Hornet Strike, Lethal Torrent, Jolt. Where is Jolt? There is Jolt. Pistol Gambit, obviously, for the crit chance, getting up to 55%. Of course, you could put on Prime Pistol Gambit, but in my mind, it's kind of a con that Prime Pistol Gambit only gains 17% per level, so I never maxed the thing. I should have, and if anyone wants to buy my extra, it's only 100 plat. But anyhow, we want to finish off this build with Pistol Pestilence to get a little bit of corrosive damage, and finally Target Cracker to get the crit multiplier up to 3.2 times. So looking at this build now, we're getting about 600 corrosive damage and about 800 mixed between puncture and slash, which is quite nice. The status chance is fairly low, but still 27% not to be sniffed at. That's 1 in 4 shots getting a corrosive or puncture proc on something, which is lovely. The fire rate is still a bit low. Lethal Torrent has helped with that, so honestly, if you're building this, consider putting on Gunslinger and tune it to your playstyle, as always. Anyhow, let's give this thing a try, as 50% of the time it's going to be dealing 3 times more damage. I'm kind of curious to see how much damage this thing actually puts out. So let's go to let's go to Pluto and shoot things with daggers. Throwing swords. Come on, DE. Throwing swords. It's just seriously, throwing daggers. Throwing daggers? No, throwing swords. Maybe throwing axes. Make it happen. Anyhow, as we're running around here, we can see that this weapon is dealing insane amounts of damage. Just get right into that camera. It still has enough fire rate to melt through a nullifier bubble quite quickly. And it's one-shotting pretty much everything I throw it at. And you set off the alarms. How dare you. Honestly, I'm hoping to bump into a Corpus Tech because I want to see how this weapon will fare against something with a little bit more health. Oh, lovely. And it killed him in a single shot. These are level 30 enemies. That's really quite good. Now this weapon only has 2 Former and a Kata. Honestly, a 4 Former build, primed heated charge, and cold damage to get maybe a little over 1,000 blast damage. This weapon could be brilliant. And definitely going to get a few more Former from me, and I might actually take another look at it after DE has decided whether it needs a buff or a nerf, as you all know they're going to. But honestly, this is a single target damage weapon. 10 rounds in the mag and a relatively slow fire rate. This thing isn't made for crowd clear. But if you do want to crowd clear, Gunslinger and concealed explosives, this weapon is amazing. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and comment below and subscribe if you want to see more.